Hello, this is Yaakov Kronenberg from Jerusalem, and tonight we'll be doing a class on the Taurus ascendant with Venus in Pisces. This will be the last class of 12 classes on the ascendant in Taurus and Venus in the different signs. Venus in Pisces naturally falls in the 12th house of the in the 11th house of the horoscope, so it's very connected with friendship, right? The Venus here will fall in the house of friendship, and Venus is, we'll come back to that in a second, and Venus is also exalted in Pisces, so it's an excellent position. You like to have the ascendant planet exalted is an interesting thing. And when a planet, especially when the ruler of the chart, we're talking about the ruler of the chart. When the ruler of the chart is exalted, so it lifts the person up, right? It makes the person feel very high, that he's higher than other people, he or she, they're higher than other people, and they're more important, and because they think that way, sometimes in truth it is that way. They say that sometimes they themselves see themselves as bigger than life, and sometimes other people see them as being bigger than life. Alright, and we'll give an example tonight where we're going to do the horoscope, look at the horoscope of George Washington, the first president of the United States, who had this combination. But first let's talk a little in general about Venus in Pisces and the ruler exalted. One problem with the ruler exalted is a person can be a little bit out of touch with reality, because he has the planets exalted. You know, there's different states where this is not a general astrology class tonight, but in general, when a planet is exalted, a planet has a lot of planets exalted, the person feels himself, he can be a little bit out of touch with reality, sees himself much better than other people or something like that. Especially in this chart, say with Venus and Pisces, not only is Venus exalted, but it's also very high in the chart. It's in the top of the chart, almost the 11th house. So the person sees himself or is seen as better than other people. But sometimes it can be delusional. It's like the person, Ibn Ezra in his one of his astrology books gives the example, what's a planet in exaltation? It's like a person who sits in the chair of the king and thinks he's the king. Right? It's an example of a person gets a little bit too much, thinks too highly of himself. He gets separated a little bit from reality. And you'll see that in charts. You have charts where a lot of planets are exalted, charts to the ethic where planets are in fall, the person doesn't think that much of himself. You get planets, everything is peregrine. I remember my teacher, he had all his charts, he had all his planets in his chart peregrine. He had nothing exalted, nothing in dishonor, nothing in detriment. Everything was peregrine. So he used to say, I have a good chart because I see reality as it is. I'm not above things, I'm not down, right? He told me I am a little delusional, or something, you know. I have a lot of planets in honor and exalted, and so what do you call it, a more mystical bent in it. I shouldn't say that. He was the mystic of New York City, but in any case, he used to say he saw reality better because he has everything peregrine. So, in any case, you can explore with that and you know, look at different charts and come to your own conclusions on, you know, on the different qualitative states of the horoscope and their impact. But in any case, again, Venus in the 11th house. The 11th house is also it's a money house. It's the second house from the 10th. The 10th is your career. The 11th house is the money you make from your career. And so it's a good place for Venus and Pisces exalted, there's a good place for career success, financial success from the career. It's a sign of having important friends. Right, you have Venus and Pisces exalted. It means your friends are also have exalted friends who are very successful. And besides friends who are very successful, and the friends will help you in this lifetime, because you're a ruler, you're connected with your friends, and there'll be a tendency on their part to help you. You'll get ahead a lot. Person who has this combination will get ahead a lot. Again with Venus and Pisces. Always remember it's connected to the ascendant. You have to always connect the ruling planet with the ascendant, what the ascendant wants. The ascendant wants, the Taurus ascendant wants financial security, comforts in life, pleasure, and things like that. And here they try to get it through their friends, through building up, like relationships with friends, and through groups, and through organizations, and things like that. And so it's a nice combination, and it's a very idealistic type of thing. Again, Pisces is connected with Jupiter, and it's also connected, and it's in the sign of Venus. So it's a very ethical type of thing. It's a very you get the feeling that the person is going to have some kind of good ethical qualities with the ruling planet, the planet of love, exalted. The person is going to be admired by everybody. Because we're going to see down George Washington, the first president of the United States. He was like also a bigger than life figure. They say about him that when he was about 6 feet tall, over 6 feet tall, and that was a couple hundred years ago. That was considered a very tall person, and he had a very impressive figure. And people really admired him, and he was a leader in the army. People he commanded respect from people and honor, and people exalted him. They made him the first president of the United States. And on top of that, I remember when I was a kid, he was noted for, they always talked about him as a person who was very ethical. The first president of the United States, they always had all these moralistic stories about him. The famous one was he was like 7, 8 years old. He chopped down his father's favorite cherry tree. And so his father saw the tree knocked down, and he asked, George, what happened? Who knocked down the cherry tree? And so they say he replied to his father, Papa, I have to tell the truth. I can't lie. I have to tell the truth. I knocked it down. So already back then he was an idea of this. You get this feeling about Venus exalted and Pisces, this idea of this very moralistic type of person. In any case, in George Washington's chart, you also see it. The ruling planet is not only the planet that rules the chart, but it was also conjunct the ruler of the 10th house, which led him to be very successful in his career, and people helped him, and he was considered a very, very important person back in those days. Okay, and I thank everybody for listening tonight.